hello there. It's 20 seconds after 12 noon. I'm Jackie Hall, and this is City Line.
And I'm B.T. Bentley. And no, we're not holdovers from Halloween, and I am not Cab Calloway.
And I am not Billie Holiday. Woo!
We are dressed this way because we're talking about the period of the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. And we're having a very special reunion today. That of Up on Pennsylvania Avenue. It's a documentary that aired about 2 years ago.
Please stress 2 years ago. A lot of water has gone under and over the dam since then.
It was a wonderful show that brought back a lot of memories. We have a lot of folks in the audience today who are going to share some of those memories with us.
It is our pleasure to bring to you the award-winning documentary entitled Up on Pennsylvania Avenue as our salute of Black History Month. From the 1930s to the mid-50s, Pennsylvania Avenue was a cultural and social hub for Baltimore's black community. It was to Baltimore what Harlem was to New York City. It was the place for fun and excitement, for glamour and high times.
You know, it still brings back a lot of great memories.
My heavens, I didn't realize how much I enjoyed just being involved in that project.
It's a great show.
Really
and it was recognized both for bringing back memories and for being an excellent piece of television, which I have to congratulate my co-host for. Locally, it was recognized by the Association of Black Media Workers with a Frederick Douglass Award for an outstanding feature program.
Right. And nationally, it was recognized by the Ohio State Merit Awards. And we went to Washington to receive that award, and it was, as I said, a national award, which we were very, very proud of. By the way, our executive producer of City Line now was the executive producer of Up on Pennsylvania Avenue 2 years ago. And please remember that it was 2 years ago.
She keeps saying 2 years ago. I wonder why.
Well, I couldn't fit in that dress. Well, no, that's not the only reason. But we hope you enjoyed it. We truly did.
I did.
Good.
And we hope that you at home will try to give us some of your memories by calling in. In the next segment, we're going to be talking with some of the folks who appeared in that documentary, and we're going to share with us some of their memories of Pennsylvania Avenue.
Right. As we continue our Up on Pennsylvania Avenue reunion, so stay with us.
Our Pennsylvania Avenue reunion continues, and joining us now on the set are three alumni of the original documentary. Ms. Cammy Murphy, welcome.
Thank you.
J. Hiram Butler, and of course, Ruby Glover.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you back. Did you enjoy seeing it again?
Yes, yes. It was really great.
I get stimulated to talk over and over and over again after I see it.
Still a lot of memories.
The only thing, I don't see enough people here old enough to ask anything about it.
I guess that's a compliment to our audience, I guess, a young-looking audience.
We're going to have to live it vicariously, as I had to do, as I donned the garb of Billie Holiday or whoever. And I actually thought I was Billie Holiday in that special, by the way. What were your favorite memories back there? What were the things that really made you enjoy the Avenue? Ruby?
Well, see, I like Cammy. I was a teenager, and I didn't have the fortune like Cammy to be behind the scenes because her dad was on the stage performing. But I had the pleasure of growing up in that time period. And it sort of the enthusiasm built my dream into, yes, I wanted to perform. I wanted to perform on the stage. I wanted to have the opportunity to have that feeling, that glamour that I saw there. It just made you feel 10 feet tall just to get off the 21 bus and walk up the street.
How important was dance to the Avenue, that whole nightclub scene?
It was important. It was very, but there were guys who lived just for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so that they could dance and show off. And of course, then, you know, the big draped pants were in fashion. In fact, her dad had the biggest pair of balloons down around his legs with the string of the chain.
Yeah, right.
And a hat like you're wearing.
Okay, all right,
right.
I'll check that out.
Of course, it got smoothed on the side a little bit, and they would stash out on the corner, and you just knew it was the time for the good times to roll.
You mentioned something while we were watching the doc that I kind of enjoyed because I can relate to the memories that I have of my mother and her friends. The Easter parade, you called
let
it.
me tell you, Easter parades have not been Easter parades since we lost the
Tell some of the younger folks what the Easter parade was.
Easter parade meant that as you picked out your garments, you know, for the Easter, you tried to think about yourself winning that prize that you walked past that big judge's stand. You just strutted. I mean, and there were all kinds of glamour. Some folks would be outlandish, but some would be very stylish. And let me tell you, if you weren't in the parade, you just stood there and bubbled because you had a good time watching them. Then fashion, hose like Camille has on now, they were out at that time.
Probably can't see.
You know, she's wearing a glamour pair with pretty leaf, you know, and the colors, oh, the colors were just fabulous. Young and old were a part of those good times.
Well, look, we're going to invite our audience from home. Please, if you have fabulous memories of Pennsylvania Avenue, call us now at 481-1313 because we'd like to reminisce with you as well. Camille, what about the best of those spots? The best place to get a chicken dinner or chitlins or whatever?
Baby Harriman.
Harriman,
Yeah, he
whoa.
was around in that time. I was going to mention a little bit about the parades because there were a lot of parades on Pennsylvania.
Oh,
I remember
yes.
as a child there was a Halloween parade and everybody would dress up in their costume. There was the Elks Parade, which
Yes.
was a big, big parade.
Don't forget the Shriners.
The Shriners Parade.
Yes.
And then there was and then I never saw this, but there was a beautician's marching
Yes.
band of
Yes.
women who played instruments and marched down
Gee, that's
Pennsylvania
interesting.
Avenue. Yeah, it was
Now,
just
Hiram
great.
wants to talk about those chitlins and chicken.
Well, I want to inject one thing, Jackie, that Ruby left out and Camille left out. To win the Easter parade, you had to buy your garments from Pennsylvania
Pennsylvania Avenue,
You didn't go
yes.
down to Hustlers and
That's
go down
true.
the floor, downstairs and buy them. But that was just a
That's true.
joke about it. But anyhow, when you talk about chitlins and hogmaws, it was a lady that that worked in the Alhambra. She could cook the best chitlins on Friday and Saturday nights and fry the best ones on Sunday.
Yes.
The funny part about Pennsylvania Avenue that I do remember, when, as I said, a lot of people here aren't old enough to even know what I'm talking about, but when the Moon Glow was built, the first hotel for the blacks, the Penn Hotel, not the Moon Glow, I'm wrong, the Penn Hotel. The Moon Glow was the bar in the Penn Hotel. The characters of Pennsylvania Avenue were my mostly interested people to observe and work with. There was a man that hung out at the the Penn Hotel by the name of, is it all right for me to say his
Sure,
name?
go ahead.
J.T. Nicholson. They called him Dude Nick. He was just, you're not close to him because your spats were, he had white spats and he had this cane and he had this hat similar to yours, but he always flashed a gold-backed $20 bill and would ask you to change it for him. And if you reached for it, he'd break your arm. He didn't want anybody to change that, but he always flashed it until he got so old that he just had to stop flashing.
Okay, listen, we want to bring in some memories from home and invite our home audience in. Hello, you're on City Line. You have some memories of Pennsylvania Avenue? Hello? Okay, I guess they forgot their memories. But fashion was very much a thing for both men and women. I've got to do this. Sorry to say, oh man, take a look at that tie. I love silk ties, but this has such beautiful work in it.
It's beautiful.
And I wanted to open the jacket so you could see it, but I can't tie it quite that short.
Yeah, mine is a vintage dress. This is a dress from the 40s, and I have some Art Nouveau pins that people used to buy at the Charm Center on Pennsylvania Avenue.
But
You noticed that Candace said the Charm Center? Yes. The Charm Center was the place for the ladies who liked to have a boutique that catered to them in their style.
Who owned it?
Mrs. Adams.
Indeed, Victorine Adams, indeed
Yes.
she did. I remember that. Now, Hiram, you kind of stood watch over the avenue, didn't you? As a member of the law.
In later years, yeah.
How rough was Pennsylvania Avenue in those days?
Very, very rough. Parts of it was, as we mentioned a little while ago.
the bottom.
The bottom. See, it was divided in two parts, the upper part and the bottom. Well, when you went down to the bottom, you just had to know where you were going and what you were going down there for. But in my line of work, didn't make that much difference. I had friends down there, and one particular good friend of mine, dear friend of mine, was Selena. Nobody here remembers Selena. I guess you do. Yeah. She was the character, and she was the boss.
Owner of a brothel?
Well, just from Dolphin Street down to Bill, she was the boss. She was the boss. She didn't come above that unless she came to the market or something like that. But she was the boss down there. Anytime you wanted to find out anything about that part of Pennsylvania Avenue, just go to her.
Okay, let's try our home phones again, see if we can get... hello, you're on City Line. He has memories of Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yes, I remember Pennsylvania Avenue, and I remember Strand Ballroom.
Hey.
All right.
Tell us about that day, that time.
Oh, we just, like they said, on Friday and Saturday night, we just get dressed up and stroll up Pennsylvania Avenue and just have a good time.
Do you miss it?
Yes, and I wish they would put something there to remind of the Royal Theater, some kind of plaque or something.
But there is.
There is a plaque there.
Take a stroll right where the Royal, well, now it's a playground. And last August, we celebrated the history of the Royal, and right as you go approximately where the entrance of the Royal was, there's a plaque that says, this is the historical setting of the Royal Theater.
All right. I certainly will. I'm sitting here and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the films that you showed, and it brings back old times.
Yes,
Great.
it does.
Times.
We have enjoyed your call, and thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we're going to take a break right now. We'll be back, and we're going to hear Miss Ruby Glover sing in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us. We'll be back with the reunion.
Something in the 1920s. Oh,
I'm
brother.
following you.
What other
One
points?
to your left. Hi, Charlie. Do you have to talk in my mic?
Oh, no. I carry mine with me.
Aha. Ties. You should take, there's a gentleman who collects them. You would love them.
I
Yeah,
raided my
me
father's
too.
collection
Did
sometimes.
you? Great.
What's the name of the song
Day
again?
by Day.
Day by Day, okay.
This has been wonderful. I'll have a high for 2 days. Oh, wow.
Organization would like to announce an event, please write us in care of City Line, WJZ-TV, Television Hill, Baltimore, Maryland, 21211, or call us for further information at 466-0013 between the hours of 9 and 5.
We're back with more of the Up on Pennsylvania Avenue reunion, and right now, Ruby Glover, accompanied by Charlie Covington, is going to give us a taste of what piano and voice did in the intimate clubs that might be frequented back in the day that Pennsylvania Avenue was hot.
40s and 50s, yes.
Okay, well, I'm not going to take up any more of the time. Let's hear it.
All right. We chose a tune called Day by Day. Day by day, I broke and broke in love with you. And day by day, our love seems to grow.
there isn't any end to my devotion. It's deeper day by far than any other ocean. I find that day by day I'm growing more in love with you. So come with me, I want you to know I'm yours alone. Say I'm in love to stay as we go through the years, day by day, day by day. I'm growing more in love with you, and day by day, our love seems to grow. There isn't any end to my devotion. It's deeper, dear, by far than any ocean. I find that day by day I'm growing more in love with you. So come with me, I want you to know I'm yours alone. Say I'm in love to stay as we go through the years. Hurry through the years, moving through the years, day by day, day by day. Said I do it, sit bed, get in the bed, with the bed, all. Said I do it, with it. Said the dirt, be all. The with. Said I do it, as we go through the years, moving through the years, hurry through the years, day by day, day by day.
Robert. Thank you, Ruby.
Fantastic. What kind of memories does that bring back to you?
Oh, of the stage shows and the wonderful Royal Theater. I recall the times that I went to the Royal, they would have like a movie, kind of a short movie, sometimes black films, and a lot of very interesting little, stories. And then sort of at the end of the film, a kind of a mesh-type curtain would come across, and the guys would start moving. The film's still going on, and the film is kind of going like this, but they were moving in the back, getting in place for the band, and then the whole audience began to feel very excited. You could get the electricity, the band was getting in place, and then when that little gossamer curtain pulled back, then it just, wow, you were just so enthusiastic.
Ruby, that was fabulous. When you were a kid, do you think that's what started you thinking about performing?
Well, no. My mom was a performer. And seeing her and seeing how during the day she was one individual to me, and then the second part of that day she'd be dressing up, ready to go out, that was the beginning. But the cap of it was to see persons who I've always idolized as a part of my growing up with my mom. Like, I never had the pleasure of seeing Billy, but Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald, and just enjoy all of that glamour. And I always thought that I'd wind up like
Hiram was mentioning some of those names, too. What were some of those big names that you remember seeing on the avenue?
Oh, I remember Ethel Waters and Ella. I remember Count Basie very vividly, and Fats Waller when he was down there. And of course, at the Royal was the biggest show that ever did come to the Royal was the Jewel Box Review.
Oh, yes. Oh, wow.
Everybody had fun on that.
Kind of before its time, wasn't it?
We were very busy. I was in the police department at that time. We kept us busy while we were there.
Okay, we've got some memories out in the audience again.
Sure do. Now, are you sure you're old enough to remember Pennsylvania Avenue in those days?
I knew you were going to say that. And before I even say anything about memories, I'd like to thank the two of you for bringing the quality that you bring to City Line every week.
Well, thank you.
I know I don't look old enough, but I am old enough for the Regent movie, for the Royal performances. But my favorite place on the Avenue was the White Rice Inn. That was like going to the Waldorf Astoria in New York City, I think. And I have my grandmother and my mother who is sitting with you today to thank for that. Miss Ruby Glover is my mom, and I'm so proud of her today. So I really had to just push that in there. But thank you so much for letting me share my memories.
Well,
with
thank you.
You, and that's a pleasant surprise. We didn't know you were out there.
That's great.
That's a pleasure. The White Rice Inn was our favorite.
Okay, let's take another call from home because so many memories out there. Hi, caller. You're on City Line up on Pennsylvania Avenue Revisited.
Hi, and I want to also congratulate you about your great show. My name is Mary Corona.
Thank you.
My mother, my aunt, and 4 uncles were born and raised on Pennsylvania Avenue, Green Willow Street. Grandfather owned a restaurant there before 1927 or 1928 by the name of the Plantation Restaurant. And my mother recalls hearing about all of these celebrities that were coming to Baltimore to the Royal Theater. She remembers them. But the only thing is, she's 81 years old, and she's asking me to call for her today.
Oh, God
And
bless.
she has fond memories of all the wonderful times that they had on Pennsylvania Avenue. And about celebrities, she was never allowed to go because naturally my grandfather was Italian origin and would never let them out of the house. I wanted to direct my question to the gentleman with white hair to see, I've forgotten his name, I'm sorry, had remembered this restaurant, and if he could tell me anything about it, because I always remember my uncle saying that they worked in the windows flipping pancakes and making pancakes and things like that.
Okay, let him answer.
I had one uncle who became a well-known doctor here in Baltimore. The other 3 uncles went out to Hollywood and became actors. And
Caller?
two have died recently, and one's still living. His name's Russ Vincent. And I have a
Caller, you have loads of memories. Would you like
and I have a cousin out there who's married.
Caller? Would you like for Mr. Butler to respond? Okay, go ahead.
I would like to, I have 2 restaurants in mind. If the Plantation is the one that was in the 900 block of Pennsylvania Avenue, is she referring to? Will the caller hear that?
Okay, no, she's not on.
Oh, then if so, that served 2 types of food. Good food, and long before they knew anything about soul food. And the food was, of course, of the best quality back in those days.
All right, great. Well, listen, we've got to take a break right now, but we'll be right back, so stay with us. Transportation for City Line's guests is furnished by Brody Limousine Service, specializing in super stretch limousines at affordable prices. Welcome back to the Pennsylvania Avenue reunion. I had to get you in because you're wearing such a lovely dress that hopefully you wore just for us today.
Thank you very much. I remember my mother taking me to the Royal to see little Esther Phillips, Sugar Child Robinson, and then we would go across the street to the La Plaza restaurant, which was called Mom's, and this was where all these stars would come to eat. So that's where I got to get some autographs.
Well, I hope you brought back some good memories for you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Jackie.
Fantastic. Everybody has such great memories, and one of the memories was yours, Camille, about Gambies. Tell us about that quickly.
Well, I never really got into Gambies. I would just sort of stand on the outside. But this is a bill. When you would go into the restaurants or go into nightclubs in those days, they would take your picture as a group. And this is one of the pictures that was taken at Gambies. And my grandmother is in the background. She has on the little in the center with the little pointed hat, sort of as sort of fancy. Everybody wore hats in those days, and that's why I have this very fancy hat. And a lot of the hats were made especially for the women. There were milliners who made hats for ladies.
Now, Gambies was the first place I ever won a contest on the Avenue. And I was sharing with Cammy and Hiram, that was the first time I'd ever won a contest in the public eye, and got 3 weeks there. So, Gambies rests with me.
We're almost at the end of this hour. We hate to say it. This has been fantastic. And even though I didn't live the actual era, I think I have relived it today.
Of course.
Take us out, Ruby, with a good old song.
Why don't we just pay tribute to you, Big?
That's great.
I'm just wild about Harry. Harry's wild about me. Everybody.
The
Jeopardy blessings of his blessings just fill me with ecstasy. Again. I'm just wild about Let me hear it. Harry's wild about me. I'm just wild about, cannot do without. I'm
That's our
just
show.
wild about.
Wherever you are, I'm glad you were here. It's been a lot of fun. Don't stop now. Don't stop now. Don't let me stop it.
About Harry. Harry's wild about me. Come on, Charlie.
Come on, let's have a little heart out there now.
How about some heart? How many of you know you? We're playing tribute to you. We're playing tribute.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think what
And we thank you for joining us today for City Line Up on Pennsylvania Avenue reunion.
It's been a lot of fun.
Indeed. And it's been a pleasure for us to relive these hours with you.
Thanks a lot. We got to go now. I'm B.T. Bentley.
I'm Jackie Hall. Have a good Sunday.
Bye-bye.